There are a lot of athletes in professional sports who will do and say whatever they think they need to at the time to get ahead. Very few of them have any real values that they stand by. Novak Djokovic is not one of those people. Novak Djokovic is standing by his principles, even though it's hurting his career. This was the scene just a few moments after Novak Djokovic won yet another Wimbledon title, his 21st Grand Slam in his career, trailing only Rafael Nadal by one Grand Slam title for most of all time. But very quickly, he was reminded that he won't get to compete in the next Grand Slam, which is the U.S. Open. Wimbledon champion Novak Djokovic still not planning to get vaccinated, set to skip the U.S. Open. And I don't think skipping the U.S. Open is a very accurate way to phrase that, ESPN, because the reality is he would be there in a heartbeat if he could. He's going to do everything he can to be there. But the United States is not going to let him come into this country because he's not vaccinated. What an absolute fucking joke. We're now, two and a half years into this pandemic, and that you won't let people into this country if they don't have this jab. This is insane. The same thing happened to Novak Djokovic back at the beginning of the year in Australia. He got deported from Australia after they refused to let him compete, after initially agreeing that he could come in because he wasn't vaccinated. And Novak Djokovic even specifically addressed this. He said, I'm not going to get the jab right here in the Wimbledon winter press conference. They bring this up.
Novak Frank from L'Equipe. Which good news are you waiting exactly from US Open? Exemption or?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not vaccinated and I'm not planning to get vaccinated, so the only good news I can have is them removing the mandated green vaccine card or whatever you call it to enter United States, or exemption. I don't know. I don't think exemption is realistically possible, or if that is possibility, I don't know what exemption would be about, so I don't know.
And we've already had several people in the tennis world, like John McEnroe, slam the ridiculous Novak Djokovic U.S. Open vaccine ban. Basically slamming politicians and saying, why is this happening? Like, it is insane that this is still going on. These politicians are getting in the way too much. They did it in Australia. Let's let the guy come in and play in the U.S. I mean, come on. This is ridiculous. So now Novak Djokovic has missed out on the Australian Open, which is one of his best tournaments. He's missing out on the U.S. Open, again, a hard court tournament that he could have a very strong advantage in. But no, he's being banned. And as a result, this could truly affect how he goes down in history. He missed out on the Australian Open, was not allowed to defend his title, and Rafael Nadal ended up winning. Then he won the French Open, and that pulled him ahead of Novak all time. 22 Grand Slam titles. Novak gets one back at 21, but he was specifically asked about this. Gina Carano clipped this out. I wanted to show this. She put this with hearts at Novak Djokovic on Twitter. This is a powerful message from Novak saying that this is my principled stand and I will not move from it.
And I understand that not being vaccinated today, I'm unable to travel to most of the tournaments at the moment.
And that's the price you're willing to pay?
That is the price that I'm willing to pay.
Ultimately, are you prepared to forego the chance to be the greatest player that ever picked up a racket, statistically, because you feel so strongly about this jab?
Yes. I do.
But as things stand, if this means that you miss the French Open, is that a price you'd be willing to pay?
Yes, that is the price that I'm willing to pay.
And if it means that you miss Wimbledon this year, again, that's a price you're willing to pay?
Yes.
Now, this was earlier this year. He was allowed to go to Wimbledon. He was allowed to go to the French Open and Wimbledon, but he wasn't allowed to go to the Australian Open and won't be allowed at the U.S. Open.
Why, Novak? Why?
Because the principles of decision-making on my body are more important than any title or anything else. And
That is, honestly, it gives me chills listening to that, because if I was in his position, I don't know if I'd be able to do the same thing. I really don't. A guy who is on the precipice of all-time, not in the precipice, he is an all-time great in tennis of all time. You can't deny that. The man has 21 Grand Slams in an era that's also been dominated by someone like Federer and someone like Nadal, who has 22. So he is an all-time great any way you slice it. But he could have won the Australian Open if he competed. He was set to defend his title. Now another U.S. Open where he's not going to be allowed to compete. He is sacrificing potentially his legacy because of his principles. It is bullshit this is happening to him. It should not be happening. It's garbage that we are at this point in 2022 and this is still happening. Professional sports are still being impacted by the vaccine mandates. Laughable. Fuck all the people that are associated with this decision that's keeping Novak Djokovic and so many others. Not just Novak, he's the top one obviously, but so many others in different sports all around the world from competing in the sport that they've been trying to play and training for their entire lives. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.